Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. So, really hot today, the sun is right there, so I put this cardboard to prevent a little bit of the glare. It's really hot today. The Corsa was registering 33.5 degrees earlier, so it's really hot today. Anyway, nothing to do with the repair, the weather conditions. Anyway, the car is a 2007 Peugeot 207 with the 1.4 HDI engine. Now, the car was dropped here about 5 days ago. I've just opened the car today to walk in here, and I've not even turned the ignition on. But I've seen it when the car was dropped. The owner reversed the car where the car is at the moment, and basically it was loads of warning lights. I didn't really pay attention at the time which ones were on, but I could see loads of warning lights. Something has been done on it. At least I can see some covers off. I haven't even went to the engine. I'm not sure if the problem is going to be on the engine anyway. But yeah, so I think we know for the new guys, we're going to start the car. I'm going to try to show you what the problem is. Hopefully all the lights as they were the other day, they will come back, and then we'll proceed with the from there. So let's go into turn it on. There we go. Okay, so we have ABS, engine light, stop light. And interestingly enough, those bars at the bottom, what's supposed to come in there? The mileage. Okay. Okay. In there comes up with braking system fault, obviously. But yeah, so this is the problems. There we go. Braking system faulty. Anything else? I think that's it. Oh, we have a steering light, anti-pollution, ABS, power steering, and we have the power steering. So this is the light. So power steering, ABS, engine light, and obviously all those dashes there. I don't know why the mileage goes away. It might be nice. I have a feeling that all the issues are going to be related, so let's gonna plug in the scanner and see what we find out. Okay, and I decided to go for an auto scan, and this is my list of faults. So obviously there's two faults on the power steering, one on the instrument panel, then we have two on the BSI, two on the injection, and strangely enough, there's no ABS. Does that should tell us something? I think it should. Anyway, let's gonna go to my BSI. We got that. So brake fluid level fault and no communications with the ABS. Let's go back. Let's gonna see what we have there, if we have the same, because no, does the probably doesn't. It looks like there's no ESP on this. Bingo, vehicle speed signal. And why? Because that vehicle speed signal is passed to the engine through the ABS multiplexing. No communications with it. It's gonna go back. It's gonna go to my, forget about the instrument panel for now. It's just gonna go quick here. There we go again. Let's go back. That's gonna go then to the instrument panel, and once again, most likely no communications, vehicle speed information. Okay, so I don't even need to scan anything else, guys, to quickly guess that we have an issue with our ABS unit. So we're not. Well, first of all, let's gonna delete some old clips because I ran out of space on the phone. As I was saying, so what we're gonna do now is, I think it is to establish that there is no communications with our ABS unit. So it's gonna visual inspect. I believe the unit on this one is in front of the wheel, so we might gonna have to take the wheel off, etc, etc. But yeah, let's gonna check it, make sure we have power and grounds. It might not be a communication issue, it might be a power supply issue to the pump, and the pump is not obviously powering up. So we don't know yet. Let's go into inspect and go from there. Okay, did a little bit of visual inspection, just open the bonnet, etc. And now this car is the model with the double relay behind the battery. So I can see the relay there, and when you check diagrams I can see that as well. So the relay behind there, I've done a video on it. I might leave a link in the description below for that video where I actually repaired the relay. Now, I'm not saying that's the issue, I'm just pointing out that this model does have that double relay. So yeah, just to make that clear, I'm not saying that's going to be my problem. But what I'm going to do now that I have the diagrams is, I'm going to actually take the wheel off, take the cover, the liner, the wheel arch liner, unplug the module, and measure power and grounds. Make sure I have everything in there. Measure can lines. There is two can. Oh, that was scary now. Right, yeah. There is two can lines. There is one that goes straight into the BSI, and there is another one that goes straight to my engine, I think it is. There's a straight connection from. There's a straight can network from there to the engine ECU. So I much doubt, because obviously my BSI works as my gateway. So the fact that the engine ECU reports no communications with the ABS module, and there is a straight connection, there is a straight CAN lines from the ABS to the engine, and I cannot communicate with the ABS on a separate CAN line, I have a feeling that it's going to be either a bad module or a power feed problem, and not a network, because otherwise both CAN lines failing at the same time, well, there is possible, but a little bit weird for that to happen. So anyway, not talking, let's gonna take that wheel and start to get our hands dirty. Okay, and here he is. So we're going to take this cover off, take this plug out, turn the ignition on, and check that we have all the powers and grounds we are supposed to have. Okay, so let's gonna check powers and grounds. I'm gonna check grounds first. I haven't even turned the ignition on yet, but let's gonna check the grounds. Some of these units, they have two grounds. In this case there's only one. Usually the grounds is this hand here. These two big pins is the grounds. These two big pins usually is voltage. In this case this side is empty. We only have one ground anyway, which is here. So I have my test light, which is pin 26. My test light is connected to voltage at the battery, and if you can see, we have ground, and this is the only ground that comes to our module. Okay, now we're going to check voltage. I should have 3 voltages. One should be a constant, not a constant, is a relay voltage that is fed from the BSM, the module under the hood by the battery, which is pin 20. That is fed from fuse number 9, and as soon as you turn the ignition on, you should have constant voltage on this, which is basically pretty much ignition voltage. Is pin number 20. So pin number 20 is so 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. I'm sure it's 20 there. Okay, and oh sorry, I need to change the test light. Sorry about that. Let's gonna put a ground somewhere here. Okay, so pin 20. So 14. So 14 is another voltage, which it is here. It comes from the dual relay. Is one of the voltage, as you can see, is here. 14. Then we have pin 20, so pin 1 as well, and we have voltage. Now we want, so 1, now pin 20. So 15, 16, no, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I don't think I've showed you, but okay, so this is pin 20, pin 1, and pin 14. And we have all the voltage we need. So it looks like I was wrong. It doesn't look like we're gonna have a power and grounds problem. It actually looks like we just might have a bad ABS unit. Now, before we obviously do something like that, I need to check CAN lines. That's obviously a must. Okay, and I'm getting ready to connect my scope, but before that, I've tried to scan the car because, and I do apologize because I think I explained something wrong, because I thought the engine ECU would have another network to communicate with the rest of the car, but it doesn't. So the way this network is laid out is BSI comes into the ABS, from the ABS goes to the engine ECU, and that's how the engine ECU communicates with the rest of the car. Now with this unplugged, I lose communications with the engine, which means my module, although it's not communicating, it is at least working as a bridge for the rest of the network to the engine ECU. So I'm going to presume that from the module to the engine ECU is going to be good, because if I plug in, I will get communications. If I unplug it, I lose communications. So I'm going to presume all my CAN signals are good from the BSI all the way to here, and from here to the engine, because as I said, I have proper communications when I connect this plug, except with the ABS. If I unplug the ECU, I lose communications, and I'm going to show you just that so you better understand. So with these unplugged, it's the glare, I do apologize. So I lose communications. Now I'm going to plug this back in. And I have communications. So I have a feeling that we really have a bad ABS module. Okay, so I think we'll have to be done sooner or later. So let's going to remove the module. I'm not going to take you through that. Just take the hoses, block the pipes that comes from the cylinder up there, so it doesn't lose the oil, and that's it really. So let's going to take it off, but it looks like we have a bad ABS module. Okay, the unit has been removed. He's over there somewhere, but obviously we are going to investigate or try to find out what happened. So we're going to take it to the workshop and have a look at it. The module is in bits, and I found where the issue is, and interestingly enough, it's not the first time I've seen this issue. I had a pump here. Actually, I might have that board somewhere. as if it's, no, it's not that. It was the port from this unit. Hold on. Oh, there it is. That's it. This one failed exactly the same way. So let me show you. I'm having the computer booting up so I can actually show you the failure, because my camera probably is not going to be able to capture this. Can you see that processor here? Can you see that there? That's chipped. There's a hole on the chip. And look, this board is exactly the same. Look, they are the same board. Just this one is from a Volkswagen, yeah? Look at that chip. It's completely burned. Let's see, put the light. Look at that. You see? It's a QA-N0705. QF, so it's slightly, is a, no, 990. 939, yeah, same chip. Exactly the same chip, look at that. Exactly the same chip. So it looks like these pumps, they have a common issue. I'm turning the computer on. I'm going to show you under the microscope just so you can see that hole. But it's a quite big chip, so I can guarantee you that just went through the chip and damaged the chip. And there we go. So under the microscope, and look at that, how bad it actually is. Can you see that? So that just killed the chips completely. And the other one is burned pretty much in the same place. If you look at it, let me get the board. Let me show you that. So that one is burned pretty much in the same place. Look at that. So if you see, it's 990 dash, and it's just above the zero before the dash. 990 above the zero. It really looks like a common issue with these chips. Anyway, this is not fixable unless you do replace the chip, which is not going to happen. I'm going to get a second-hand unit, fit it on the car, and hopefully we will have a fix. But at least we've figured out what is wrong and where it failed. Okay, this is like 4 or 5 days later. I think I have just received my unit. So we're gonna unpack this, take the wheel out, and give it a quick test. Okay, and the unit is now just plugged in. Not long ago I did the same procedure. There's no point to just put the pump all back in place, etc., to then perhaps find out that there is still an issue with the second, oh, sorry about that, that there is still an issue with the second-hand unit. So now that we have everything plugged in, it should work anyway. To test it, we don't need to put the pipes, so it was just electrically. So let's go and turn the ignition on and perhaps scan the car and see what we have. Okay, moment of the truth. Let's turn this on. Let's start the engine. And look at that. Only thing we have now is the engine light, but as you can see, ABS light is gone. Power steering, let me see if I can show you that in there, so power steering is gone. That's it. All the issues are gone. The only thing we have now is that. We'll have to find out why is that. But yeah, it looks like at least we got a fix for the ABS unit, so sweet. Okay, and the unit is now in place. Everything back in place. The only thing left now is bleeding the brakes. I'm waiting for Ines to finish her schoolwork to help me out bleeding this. So we're gonna bleed the brakes, and then obviously we'll scan the car, make sure we have no faults, and try to figure out what's wrong with that engine light. If it's nothing to do with this, I might do a separate video for that. But for the brakes, looks like we are just about to finish. So let's bleed this and scan the car, and that's about it really, I guess. Okay, and all of a sudden this job just became more expensive and longer, because when I go back here to open this bleeder because I wanted to do both sides at once. When I go here to open the bleeder, I found the following. Let me see if my phone is gonna capture that. Hopefully it will. I'll focus in there. It's not gonna focus. There we go. It's nearly there. So the bleeder is actually snapped, and you can see it's not a fresh snap, so it was not me that broke this. It was already like that. As you can, phone just stopped recording because I've touched that in there. Anyway, so as you've seen, the bleeder is snapped. So I just went and bought 2 new cylinders. By the way, I've checked the other one on the other side is also snapped. So the last person that worked on these brakes snapped both bleeders. Anyway, let's gonna replace this and then yes, bleed the brakes. Okay, not that I need to prove anything to you, but as you can see, this is not a fresh. It's not fresh, so this was broken for a long time. Anyway, this one is done. Well, it's kind of done. Let's kind of finish it off, but yeah, and then we'll bleed the brakes. Okay, and just got back home. I just finished moving the cars again. Just got back home from a road test. The car is braking absolutely perfect. Everything is working fine. No warnings, as you can see. So I still have the auto scan from when I finished. So I've scanned the car. As you can see, the car is absolutely fault free. Okay. There is only one thing that I would like to highlight at this point, guys. I haven't recorded the bleeding procedure because I was doing it with Ines, and it is always a challenge when Ines helped me out with these kind of things. So anyway, but what I would like to highlight is that even because not long ago I've been commenting on some videos about these that I thought they were not clear enough, but anyway, is the bleeding. So the bleeding, if your car, or in this case not all the cars, you can have this car with a different, maybe with a different ABS unit that does not have this program, but if your car does have a program to bleed the brakes, you should use it. Okay, in this case, so this car does have that. If I come back here, I will show you. So if I go there, if I come here, I'm not going to go through the entire thing again because it's a quite long process. I've done it all with Ines, as I said to you. She helped me out with this. Okay, so sometimes this bleeding procedure you press and says not available. This one, it is available. Okay, so now it takes you through loads of steps to get everything bleeded, but the first thing it tells you is you should have the brakes pre-bleeded, and basically what that means is you should first bleed the brakes like you do old school. So someone pumps the brakes, then press, then you open the nipple, the pedal travels all the way down, you close the nipple, pump the brake again, etc, etc. So that's the first thing it tells you to do. Then it goes through a sequence of motor activated, so activates the motor. Then it goes through another step where you press the brake and the tool opens the valve, the pedal travels all the way down, then the motor kicks in, the valves activate and it pushes the pedal back up, and then it goes through on every single wheel, asks you to open the nipples, etc, etc. Anyone that's been through this knows what I'm talking about. But there is a bleeding procedure for this particular car. Now, if you do have this facility, use it. If you don't have a tool to do this, and you know your car does have something like this, or even if you don't know, I think I would advise that you bleed the brakes old school, like I've just did first, and then from there you take it to someone, to a garage or whatever that has a tool to then carry out this final bleeding procedure. I recall when I've done my M5, exactly the same thing. it tells me to bleed the brakes first and then go through a procedure on every single wheel where he activates the motor, the valves, while you open the nipples, etc, etc. So each car is slightly different, so but you always try to follow this step by step if your car does have this facility. Not all the ABS units allows you to do this. Some units is just purely old school bleeding and that's it. But if you have this, follow it and you should be fine. So as for this car, guys, as we have seen, was just a bad unit. I've showed you where the unit has failed, and I think that's it really. So what else to say, guys? Let's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there's some information here that you can find useful. If you do have any questions, any comments, please put them below. And like always, thanks for watching.